Candace Owens is getting sued for defamation again, this time by Charlie Kirk's former head of security for claiming that he conspired to kill Charlie. Now, the problem is he's never been investigated. He's never even been considered a suspect, but now millions of people actually believe that he was involved. The plaintiff in this case is Brian Harpole. He's the one who ran Charlie Kirk's security the day he was shot on September 10th, 2025. And he's suing Candace Owens, her two production companies, and a former military sergeant named Mitchell Snow for defamation. And in true Candace Owens style, she makes some absolutely bonkers allegations. She says a source saw Brian Harpole leaving a classified military meeting in Fort Huachuca, Arizona, the day before the assassination, and that, quote, is when an operation is confirmed. And in her words, that story would lead to, quote, a full confession from the government about their involvement in the Charlie Kirk's assassination. Candace also claims that a private tipster told her that Harpole made no security arrangements for Kirk's speech the next day at a college in Woodland, Colorado, and that's because he knew that he would not be alive to attend it. So who is Candace relying on to destroy Brian Harpole's life and reputation? No names, no credentials, no verifications, tipsters. She does rely on retired Sergeant Mitchell Snow, who's also being sued for defamation with Candace. And he was a Special Forces veteran. Now, Mitchell Snow, who's appeared in many podcasts, claims that he was actually at the Fort Huachuca private military meeting and that he saw Brian Harpole there. In fact, he says he was 95 to 90% sure that he saw Brian Harpole at that classified military meeting. And the complaint alleges that that was physically impossible, and the Candace Owens has flight records that put Harpole in Dallas, Texas at the time of that Fort Huachuca meeting, and that is a substantial basis for her knowledge of falsity. Meaning, despite Candace Owens allegedly having the facts, she chose to publish her own conspiracy theories anyway. So what do you think Candace's defenses are going to be? There's no doubt she's going to claim First Amendment protections and that she's providing public commentary on a serious public issue, and that is the alleged conspiracy behind Charlie Kirk's murder. She's also going to argue that Mitchell Snow, an independent person, was there and gave her witness testimony that she's relying on. She's probably also going to argue that Brian Harpole, by doing a bunch of podcasts, is a limited purpose public figure, and that the standard of proof that's going to be required is going to be actual malice, knowledge of falsity, which is hard to prove. But here's the gigantic problem. She had the flight records that show Brian was in Dallas, not at Fort Huachuca. And that, my friends, is what a Tennessee jury is going to get to hear. So what do you think? Is Candace completely lost her mind again? Tell me your thoughts.